20. Oops, where'd it go? All right. Hello, all you patrons. Welcome to another patron pre-show. Gather round.
Gather round indeed. And you notice they're all dressed for Mother's Day. They're all dressing like little old ladies. No, that's not true. They look elegant as always, ladies and gentlemen. It's amazing. If you can't see them, I can. And my, do they stand out as always. Sartorial splendor.
What's sartorial?
Having to do with clothes.
Sartorial. Wow. I got to put that in my toolbox.
We're a sewing kit.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm excited for Mother's Day. It's gonna be a nice day tomorrow.
What do you got planned for your? What are you gonna do to your mom and your wife?
Oh gosh, I guess do I guess I have to do something for my wife too. I guess, huh? Is that?
You know, she's not a mother yet, but she will be. A mother in training, as you might say.
Mother in training. So I mean, is that typical? Like,
Well, I guess not yet. I mean, you gotta have to do something for her mother, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I've met her mother, and I know your mother for many, many years.
Yeah.
So give them both my very best regards. My mother's dead. I'm an orphan. Thank you for reminding me. What? I don't want to work the guilt. I don't. Not really.
Not really.
Maybe a little bit. Well, poor me, all alone in the world.
Wow.
No, it's true. I mean, after all, Mom's been gone, 7 years now.
So what is that? That's 2015?
2015, yeah. Dad went in 96.
Yeah.
So I really am an orphan. All alone. Well, not entirely. I've got a brother and sister-in-law and 10 nephews and nieces. But anyhow. But my parents are gone.
Yeah, your family are people too.
Well, yeah, even my family. That's true. Although, you know, the joke with us was always that I was the nice one.
Your brother's the mean one?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well, let's just say I'm as nice as he gets. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay.
It's you know, one of my nephews, who will go nameless, but it was Albert, came to see me here, and Philip was already here, and one of my classmates had noticed that we have a particular and bizarre way of talking to each other in the family, and so he's sitting there, and Albert and I are talking at one another, and poor Matthias is getting increasingly weirded out by the conversation. And finally he says, "What does that even mean?" And the two of us, I mean, we couldn't have choreographed it better. Our heads turned and looked at him. He goes, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's too late for that now, Matthias. You're part of this conversation. No, I'm sorry. I'll do anything. It's too late for sorry. You're a full-fledged member now of this conversation. And he was pretty weirded out, I must say. But we couldn't have choreographed it better than two heads turning at the same time.
That's awesome.
Anyhow, seriously though, it's other than that, it is springtime here in Österreich.
Springtime for Hitler?
No, don't you be saying that.
Hitler was Austrian, no?
Yeah, no, he was German. Beethoven was Austrian.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's to those of us here at the National Tourist Office know people anyway. Well, you know what my brother said, that they would update that joke about the Austrians being the smartest people in the world And you can tell it because they got everyone convinced that Hitler was German and Beethoven was Austrian.
Yeah.
So my brother said, if you stay there long enough, they'll update it. I said, oh, yeah, they'll say the smartest people in the world because they've got everyone convinced that Schwarzenegger was Californian and Coulombe was Austrian. I
That
I hope I can live up to that. Schwarzenegger has certainly lived down to it. I hope I can live up to it.
Oh man.
He's kind of a joke over here, actually. They make fun of him whenever I bring him up. They laugh kind of hysterically.
I can see that. I mean,
Well, he's honored. He's going to pump you up.
well, that's a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yes, it
That's
is.
yeah.
But he was the inspiration for it.
Of course, of course.
I mean, I remember when he first became a big name, as Conan the Incredible or whatever. And then he just got more and more bizarre. And we had the Terminator series
Yeah.
and the Predator series.
Yeah.
And then he ended up as governor.
Yeah.
Then he impregnated the maid. And because he was married to a Kennedy chick, you remember?
Yeah, I knew that. That's why
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't hear about the maid thing, because if you do something bad against the Kennedys, usually you're going to get crucified for it.
Well, he did, but not for long because he was on his way out of office anyway. He actually he didn't do too badly as governor in the beginning, but when he was defeated over the trying to break the teachers union and their stranglehold on their members' money, he just collapsed after that. He was just going through the motions.
Yeah.
Which was sad. He and to be honest with you, I've often thought that was a terrible thing, that union members should have no control over where their money, over what candidates their money goes to support.
Mm.
I think that's utterly horrendous.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't want that, would you?
No. But anyhow, on to the questions. Let's get some happy questions going on.
Happy thoughts.
Yeah.
Happy songs for a dying planet.
Yes, as the mental hygiene czar, it is my responsibility to safeguard the thoughts of our audience.
Only happy thoughts will be permitted for the rest of the pre-show.
Exactly.
All right, everyone, let's retreat to our happy places. I'm at the Bob Baker Marionette Theater. I'm 8 years old.
Wow. All right.
I retreated to my happy place.
I'm at a makeshift 4th of July parade on what is it, a terrace street or something like that, with a bunch of other kids. Yeah.
Yay! I'm having one of those. Remember the ice cream with the wooden? That would come with little dishes of ice cream with a wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having one of those right now.
Wow.
And I'm watching the marionettes.
That takes me back.
Yeah.
I feel like those they're probably not out of business. I feel like it's very viable.
Who, the ice cream or the Bob Baker marionettes?
The ice cream, the little cups. You're talking about the cups, right? Because that was really cool too. I always got the one that mixed vanilla with the chocolate. I think it was syrup. Yeah.
Yeah, and the wooden spoon was somehow attached, and you pull it off. You pull off the top, and then you.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, see?
Thank you for that, Charles. That was a good memory.
Ah, well, I'll tell you, nobody knows how to retreat to his happy place quite the way I do.
That's for sure.
I just pull away. Bye bye. all of you morons controlling the modern world. Bye bye. Go die now. That's right. Go be
Now,
consumed by
eight.
flames. Bye-bye. What's that?
Let's keep it. Let's keep it happy. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep it
I am
friendly.
happy.
All right.
Thinking about them being consumed by flames makes me ecstatic. All right. So, what do we got in the way of questions?
Got a question from Mason who says, "I have a question for Charles that I think he would enjoy.
Okay, let's see if your thought is fulfilled in reality. We'll find out.
I have recently been looking at pictures of English Palladian churches and do not know what to make of them. I quite like Italian Catholic Palladian designs such as San Giorgio Monastery in Venice and see it as a continuation of Baroque, but English Palladian designs oftentimes seem to be copies of pre-Christian designs than part of the Baroque tradition. I like the secular buildings made by Inigo Jones and Christopher Wren, but I don't know what to think of their churches as they have only a single nave with no aisle, and this with the rectangular minimize the altar, of course, being Anglican, they had less of an issue with this. For example, Jones's St. Paul's Convent Garden seems to barely be a Christian design, as the altar, and thus Christ's sacrifice, is completely minimized, and I find it impossible for a Catholic to embrace such a design. Though if it were a secular building, it would be pretty. This might be unfair of me, as I have never seen any of these buildings and have only looked at them in books and online. What are Charles's thoughts on Palladianism, both on the continent and in England, and whether English Palladianism is an acceptable style for a Catholic church? When the ordinariate expands, will it be okay for them to occupy Palladian churches?
Well, let's go with the last question first. Yeah, I shouldn't see why not. I mean, uh, Sir Christopher Wren's designs have always struck me as a little cold but beautiful. Um, and it could very well be that what they need to warm them up is the real presence of the Mass. Um, it it's really quite a. It would take a little bit of work, but not a lot. And interestingly enough, the I think the only building that Wren designed in America is the chapel of well, it's the old building, but it includes the chapel of William and Mary College in Virginia, in Williamsburg. And I was actually at a mass in that chapel, Catholic mass, believe it or not, which and it was in Latin. Isn't that weird? But it was quite nice, and the despite the fact that it was very stark, as I say, colder than I would like, it it worked. If you want to see some Catholic churches that have that kind of starkness, the Basilica of the Assumption in Baltimore is a very good example.
Hmm.
Again, not my first choice. I prefer either Baroque, Gothic, or Neo-Gothic. But it for various reasons, especially if you inherit a church of this sort, you want to keep its integrity as much as you can, I guess. Have to
So,
put in a new altar with relics anyway.
so what do you feel? How do you feel about the minimization of the altar area?
Well, obviously, I don't know how true a thing that is. Let me just look. I've been to St. Paul's Covent Garden, actually.
Looking at a
Uh,
couple of these, I can see what he's talking about with the Christopher Wren churches a little bit. Um,
yeah, well, there definitely is kind of a coldness to them.
yeah.
Uh, St. Peter's Covent Garden, I've been to several times. It's the Actors Church. Uh, St. Paul's, rather. I don't know why I said Peter's. Uh, St. Paul's Covent Garden is very Roman style, but no, the altar is certainly not small.
It's not small. I guess it's the ones I'm looking at. It's a little bit. I don't know. Um, it's not
It's a little
roomy.
stark. No, it's not roomy at all, but it does, it would do the trick. I
Like
mean, you'd be able to offer mass there. You wouldn't be able to fit a card table in there, though.
yeah, like one of the parishes I go to nearby is St. Andrews, where they have the four. I don't know what you'd call the architectural design, but it's like the four
It's
pillars. It's kind of
it's
like the Vatican.
it's Roman. It's modeled after Santa Susanna
Ah, there you go.
in Rome,
So
and it's
yeah,
got a baldacchino with a freestanding altar.
there you go. I don't know. Perfect. That's the structure on top.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
and interestingly enough about St. Andrews, it, like the Friedenskirche in Potsdam, was modeled after Santa Sabina in Rome. But and we've said this on the show before, but I don't mind saying it again. If you went to the Friedenskirche, you would see how much it resembles St. Andrews because they're both modeled after the same church. But you would find that while their altars look very similar, the one in Santa Sabina doesn't look anything like it, and it doesn't have a baldacchino. And do you know why?
why?
Because that baldacchino, an altar that was in Santa Sabina's until the 1920s, was taken out by Mussolini and given as a gift to a man named Dr. Hubert Eaton.
Why?
He was a friend of Mussolini's. And Dr. Eaton set it up in an establishment he founded, Forest Lawn.
All right. Question from William, who says, I don't know if this has ever been asked before on the show, but are you and Charles descended from any royalty personally? I found through Ancestry.com that I may, big emphasis on may, be a descendant of King James V of Scotland. Wow.
Well, since you ask, I can tell you that my multiple great grandmother was a McKinnon. Now you think, well, what does that mean? It means that, like perhaps a quarter and a half of the populations of Ireland and Scotland, I am a descendant of Neil of the Nine Hostages, High King of Ireland.
The 9 hostages?
Yeah.
Why do they?
So-called,
What are the 9 hostages?
there were 9 prisoners that he held on to because they were bad and needed re-education.
Sounds like an interesting story. It sounds like there's a lot more to the story. What aren't you telling me, Charles? Let it be. Why don't you let the whole story be known?
Nothing. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you very much. What am I concealing about Neil's 9 hostages?
I'm gonna turn that into a thing. I'm not letting that go, Sandra. I'm sorry. That's too fun.
What am I not telling anybody? But I am also, in all likelihood, as are you, and the vast majority of people with European DNA, descended from Charlemagne.
That's right. We've handled that question. That's fascinating. So, but this is like what's the term? Like sociologists have come to this conclusion scientifically or something like that?
Yeah, geneticists and people like that,
Yeah.
between them, have come to the conclusion that virtually the entire population of Europe is descended from Charlemagne.
How come you're abiding by modern scholarship for this one?
Well, when they know what they're talking about, I'm all for them.
Oh, how are you in a position to know whether they know what they're talking about?
If I agree with them or not.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let's see. But see, I'll tell you that. I'll be upfront about it. I'm not like so many of these people. Oh, well, it's because I've got special knowledge. Yeah, you've got your gut instinct, same as I do. Only I trust mine more than yours. How about that, smart guy?
All right. Fair enough. We respect the honesty, Charles.
Well, it's all I've got to give. Lord knows I don't got no money.
All right. Next question is from our good our fan Chicago Jacobite. From the east side. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, indeed. People of the water. The east side of Chicago. Back in the bad old days. Back in the
uh,
USA. The heat of a summer night. In the land of the dollar bill. When the town of Chicago died. And they talk about it still. What a man named Al Capone tried to make that town his own. So he called his gang to war against the forces of the law. That was from Paper Lace, who were
no,
still 3 lads from Nottingham who set out to conquer the world. And they did. And now they're back performing in Nottingham, England, where they started out. But they've stuck together all these years. How many bands can you say that of?
none. All right. He says, I was wondering if Charles was familiar with the work of the great, almost forgotten French film Rene Clair. Although he began as a Dadaist, he quickly moved into mainstream storytelling and had much in common with the best European movie making before World War II and contributed to American films during the war. His work, although interesting, declined when he returned to France later. Among his fantasies are Paris Qui d'Or, uh,
Kidor.
Kidor,
Paris Kidor.
The Ghost Goes West, and I Married a Witch. Other films include Millon, Italian Straw Hat, and the best bit of Agatha Christie on screen, and then there were none. Does
Ah.
Charles have any good memories of any of these films?
Well, yes. The Ghost Goes West and I Married a Witch, which it was probably the inspiration, I think, for Bewitched. Uh, Oddly enough. But let me see. Did he do? No, that was Jacques Tourneur. I was wondering if he'd done the Cat People, but no, he did Jacques. That was Jacques Tourneur. Another film I like very much, The Cat People and The Revenge of the Cat People, both of which starring the amazing Simone Simon. So
Alrighty.
yes, I've got good memories of early French refugees cinematistes.
All right. Our last question for the pre-show is from Superfan Nicholas.
All
Hello.
right, Nicholas.
He says, I hope things have been working out for you and a belated congratulations on your beautiful wife. Oh, thank you, Nicholas. I really appreciate you and your letters as well. I have a question. Would you or Charles be able to direct we lowly mailroom workers to where we can find a compendium of his old Roman Catholic parish review articles? If so, would you please do so? Thanks.
The answer is yes, and they will be posted accordingly. Uh, due to the miracle of the Wayback Machine.
Yes, I'll post it. I'll probably try to post it in the Patreon message at the bottom, and I'll post it on the YouTube summary description. And it's pretty cool. We were reading them again before the show, and that was a little fun. So you're gonna enjoy it.
A
Yeah, you guys will enjoy it.
lot of nostalgia for me.
Yeah, especially if these churches are familiar to you. It's really interesting. So
And the last of them I did was back in 2006. Can you imagine?
it's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, I started the column back in '94, and it only became online in '97. So I did that for over '94. How long was that? A good 12 years. So I was doing it for a long time, but the whole thing, it's longer ago than I actually did it.
Yeah,
Isn't that bizarre?
that is bizarre.
It's 2006. It's now 2022. Uh,
So there are 14-year-olds that were born when you ended,
yeah,
when you stopped doing it.
I did it for 12 years, and I stopped doing it 14 years ago. Golly,
And it was so. When did you start? 97,
'94. I started actually doing them, and they
94.
and they only started running online in '97.
Wow. So you did this quite literally before a handful of the audience was born.
Yeah,
To be
yeah, it's
honest.
true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Wow.
I started before most of the audience was born. Yeah. Um, the first one that we've got here. Let me see. What is it? First we got here is Our Lady of Malibu in 1997.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it goes through Holy Family Glendale, St. Andrews, Pasadena, Mission San Buenaventura, St. Christopher's, West Covina, St. Monica's, Santa Monica, Blessed Sacrament, Hollywood, St. Robert Bellarmine, Burbank, St. Bernardine of Siena, Woodland Hills, Our Lady of the Assumption, Claremont, St. Elizabeth Altadena, Annunciation Church, Arcadia, St. Victor's Church, West Hollywood, St. Charles Borromeo, North Hollywood, La Placita, LA, Our Lady of Lourdes, Tahunga, St. Martin of Tours, Brentwood, Francis de Sales, Riverside, St. Simon and Jude, Huntington Beach, St. Philip the Apostle, Pasadena, Holy Family, Wilmington, St. Maximilian Colby, Westlake Village, St. Teresa of Avila, Silver Lake, Padre Serra, Camarillo, St. Pascal Belon, Thousand Oaks, St. Ambrose, West Hollywood, St. Brendan, Hancock Park, St. Monica, Santa Monica, San Conrado Mission, LA, Blessed Sacrament got a return visit, St. Dominic Savio and Bellflower, Holy Angels, Arcadia, Christ the King, Hancock Park, St. Anthony's, Long Beach, Precious Blood, Los Angeles, Holy Family, South Pass, St. Anthony's, Oxnard, Holy Name of Mary, San Dimas, St. John Baptist de La Salle, Granada Hills, Holy Trinity, Atwater, Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels, Los Angeles, St. James, Redondo Beach, Immaculate Conception, Monrovia, St. Francis de Sales, Sherman Oaks, All Souls, Alhambra, St. Kevin's, Koreatown, and lastly, but not leastly, St. Jude the Apostle, Westlake Village.
Hmm.
It was, while I was doing it, the most feared thing in the newspaper, because they never knew when I would show up.
You're like a vigilante.
Well, no, no. Let's take something at random.
It's like a secret
And
shopper, except instead of shopping, you're a parishioner.
yeah, well, I just St. Anthony's, Long Beach. Yeah, this was typical. I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously. Uh, Actually, it's short. All right. Boasting such sights as the RMS Queen Mary, the city of Long Beach deserves stately places of worship. One such is St. Anthony's at 540 Olive Avenue. A grand structure of eclectic but basically German-style Romanesque, the church's facade boasts a mural of the Assumption of Our Lady done in the stylized Boiron manner. Inside the church, the tabernacle still adorns what was the high altar. The altar table, once the mensa of the high altar, has been brought forward. The altar rail has been only slightly mutilated, with only its front gate removed. The church's interior features a number of side chapels. The Sacred Heart and Lady altars in the sanctuary remain more or less intact. So impressive is the building that Cardinal Mahoney denominated it a shrine church for the 2000 Jubilee. On March 16, 2003, I attended the Mass at St. Anthony's for the second Sunday in Lent. The congregation of older Anglos and Hispanics and Filipinos of all ages loosely filled the church. Prior to the beginning of the Mass, the choir directress informed us that this Mass would premiere the children's choir, which a musical ensemble of piano, drums, and guitars assembled in front of the Lady Altar would accompany. The celebrant, Pastor Emeritus Ernest Gualderone, processed in with a lectoress in skirt suit, a lector in a suit, four altar boys in cassock and surplice, and a crucifer. As throughout the Mass, the children sang energetically, if rather shrill and flat. Father Gualderone led us to the Confiteor, and we sang the Kyrie in English. The lectoress read the first reading, Genesis 22, etc., which speaks of Abraham's attempted sacrifice of his son Isaac. The lector followed with the second reading, Romans 8:31, in which St. Paul asks, if God is for us, who could be against us? Then Father Gualderone mounted the pulpit, reading the Gospel, Mark 99 to 10, the account of the Transfiguration. In his sermon, Father told us of his visit to Mount Tabor in the Holy Land when the Transfiguration occurred. He pointed out that each of us receives in our lives little revelations of Christ's divinity, to which each must respond by abstention from sin and by following him. Gualderone also spoke of Lent and the need to sacrifice in emulation of Abraham. The youth choir sang during the offertory, and the priest used Eucharistic prayer won the Roman canon. At communion, 6 Eucharistic ministers appeared in the nave and formed stations in the middle of the nave and near the sanctuary. A number of the communicants genuflected and received on the tongue. After communion, the children in the ensemble, now increased by 1 young violinist, performed Jesus Loves the Little Children. The juxtaposition of modern song with Orthodox sermon at St. Anthony's was reminiscent of masses of the late 1960s and 70s. This impression was reinforced by the choir and ensemble's penultimate tune, They'll Know We Are Christians, a standby of the 1960s. But in a nod to 21st century sensibilities, this old favorite was reinforced with a reggae backbeat. After reading announcements and giving the blessing, the priest recessed with the sanctuary party. The little ones were applauded, after which most of the congregation adjourned to the plaza outside, where not only donuts and coffee awaited us, but bowls of steaming menudo.
Did you applaud for the little ones?
I did not applaud.
Because they were shrill and flat? They're stringing? Making fun of the children singing.
No, because the Benedict XVI saying that where there is applause, the spirit of the liturgy has fled.
Did you?
I didn't want to go against
outside of outside of church. Did you support any of the little ones and say, "Wow, you did such a good job"?
No, I didn't want their parents to think that some weird old guy was trying to go after their children.
Well, okay,
I
fair
made a
enough.
beeline for the coffee, donuts, and menudo.
All right, fair enough, Charles. You're free to go.
Thank you.
No, that's fun. You know what I noticed actually, as we've gone through a couple Roman Catholic articles, is you always give a straight up count of the Eucharistic ministers.
Yeah,
I like that. That's
well, there was certain details that always hit me.
yeah.
There was on one occasion, I think it was. I'm not going to try to find it, but if it's not St. Francis de Sales, we'll forget it. But I think it was St. Francis de Sales. Yeah. This was the feast. It was the Feast of the Ascension, St. Francis de Sales, Riverside, and said, although the Ascension itself was not mentioned, the homily was timely. This fact did not seem to impress itself upon the oldest altar boy, a tall lad of perhaps 12 to 14 years. He laid his head on the back of the empty chair next to him. The homily completed, the creed was recited, and the collection taken up. Father Luigi used Eucharistic Prayer 3, during which the altar boy chatted and giggled quietly with the altar girls next to him. The extraordinary ministers stationed nearby did not seem to notice. At the Our Father, the sanctuary party all held hands, as did the congregation. The communion song was How Great Thou Art. After the service was concluded, the sanctuary party formed up to recess. The active altar boy appeared to goose the altar girl in front of him, who laughed softly. Then once again bowing to the crucifix, the sanctuary party retreated down the aisle.
Gosh, that's embarrassing. That's some high end journalism, though.
Well, it's what happened.
What is the verb goose exactly mean?
To goose someone?
To goose, yeah.
If you don't know, I'm not telling.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty weird.
I thought so. This they
Sorry,
were
Charles.
playful.
I don't have a vulgar upbringing like other people. I wasn't raised in Hollywood.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Chris Zender, my
I
longtime editor there, he had problems with my using the word goose in that context.
right.
He didn't want to use it. So I said, all right, I can say he playfully inserted his head. Stop. I said, all right. Well, that's what happened. And it was quite prominent.
All right.
I mean, on another occasion, I wrote that the priest minced out.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that either. And I said, well, all right, let me show you how I walked. And I showed him. And then I said, okay. Now I said, let's look up what the word mincing means, to walk in a strange or affected manner. Now, to me, that what I just did was mincing. And that's what he did. Now, if you have a word that better describes and gets across that action, let's use it. But if not, he minced.
I think it's just hard to hear. It's just so hard to hear that it's like I can relate. I think I understand Mr. Zender, but yeah.
Well, I don't understand. It's what happened.
It's true. I mean, that's the point of the whole thing is
Yeah. If they don't like it, they shouldn't do it.
yeah.
I would have this when various priests would complain to me about my quotations in their sermons. And I would say, did I lie? Did I make it up? Well, no, but well, then stop. If you don't like what comes out of your mouth, have something else come out of it. All I'm able to do is report on what you actually said. I don't have the ability to know what you meant.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't read minds. If it comes out of your mouth, then that gets recorded, and that's what I'll write about. If you don't like it, don't let it come out of the mouth. Get what I mean, Monsignor?
It's your
I would
fault.
don't kill the messenger. I would get these angry calls from pastors, so angry. And my response was always, was I lying? Did I make it up? You see, they wanted to be able to do whatever they felt like doing without anybody ever caring. Well, no. It doesn't work that way. At least it didn't when I was doing my column.
Yeah.
If you, if you wanted to turn the church and the mass into a personal circus, I would report that it was a personal circus. But you notice I never said anything was bad or wrong.
I think you need to be reprimanded for not being an example to the community.
I was. Oh gosh.
Father Charles Ramirez reprimanded you just before giving communion for not being an example to the community.
That was it.
Apparently, your crime that afternoon, weekday, was not coming up around the altar at the offertory when Father ordered everyone up.
That's true. That's exactly what happened.
Oh man, that's funny.
I'm sure he was not happy with that article. He was not happy at all.
Why?
I don't know.
He said it. Is he not happy with his own actions?
Apparently not. No, he would. It's not that. It's just that they were never happy with their actions being recorded and shown for everyone to see and laugh and point out. I mean, the biggest compliment I ever got out of when I was doing that column, was, Charles, you don't make your enemies look like the sons of Satan. You make them look like the sons of Bozo. And I thought, that's kind of what they are.
Well, that is so reminiscent to me of your anecdote with Teddy Kennedy and your conclusion from that, because your conclusion was that evil has an armor against hate and strong words. They're used
Oh,
to that.
he's,
But more than anything else, evil wants to be taken seriously.
yeah, they
It does
can't bear to
not want to be laughed at. When it gets
no.
laughed at, that's when you start flailing your arms and saying, "Take me seriously."
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
important. I really am. I matter. If you say so, boss.
yeah.
And that it's true. Evil can't be laughed at. Yeah, boy, Father Charles Ramirez or Martinez, who was it? That was it.
Ramirez. Ramirez.
Ramirez. That was at Immaculate Conception.
That's right. Your home parish.
My home parish, as it was then. Yeah, the January of 2006. Boy, the wound is still fresh. Tabernacle, what tabernacle?
Yeah, that's the
I,
name of the article. Tabernacle? What tabernacle?
yeah, I was very frightened of that.
Yeah.
The well, although I was sure that the presumably larger numbers of faithful on a Sunday Mass would preclude a similar liturgical draft, it was with some apprehension that I entered the church on November 20th, 2005, the Feast of Christ the King. Oh man, oh man. Oh, yeah, Father Ramirez was there. Gosh. As I'm reading this now, I can remember the whole thing. Father Ramirez, clad in black clericals, was busy working the crowd, shaking hands and pressing the flesh. He sure was. Whenever Father passed the tabernacle, he would give it a curt little nod, as one does at a party to someone he thinks he recognizes.
Gosh.
All right, so.
I mean, that's.
Well, but that's exactly what he did. I
Yeah.
mean, he give it this little, not even a bow. It's just yeah,
Okay. Well, it's been
that's
fun going
funny.
down memory lane. I'm sure everyone's gonna enjoy it. Again, I'll put the link for all the articles. It's in one archive. I'll put it up in the description. But get excited for the full episode. We have a lot of good questions, a lot
We
of
do
memes too.
indeed,
Yeah.
and not just good questions. We've got good memes. We've got a what do you
State of
call
the
that thing?
week.
The state of the week.
Lightning round.
Yes, a lightning round. That was the word I was
There we
looking
go.
for. A lightning round. So we'll see if the old man can be made to look even more foolish than usual. And keep Father Charles Ramirez in your prayers. I don't know if he's even alive anymore.
Yeah. All righty. All right. See you soon.
Ciao, ciao. Don't run off.